wanted to take some time to look back at the past year, look at the highlights and the lowlights of my life across a few different areas, more specifically, my physical health, my mental health, as well as my professional health. I'll also be incorporating some lowlights as well. I think what I'll probably do is in the future, I'll do another video just talking about what I plan on working on and doing in the upcoming year. But for the purpose of this video, it's really just a look back on my own life across those three different domains. So I think one of the biggest wins from a mental health standpoint was really connecting with people that, I guess the best way to describe it are as weird as I am. I think one of the things that I've struggled with a lot is that I tend to gravitate towards very obscure, far out ideas. For those that know me very well, I do enjoy my fair share of conspiracy theories, but I think just overall looking at, what is life, very philosophical ideas, really breaking things down into their, I guess you could say, simplest part, but also not being afraid to experiment with different concepts and ideas and belief systems to see what works best for me. And this past year, I did get the opportunity to find a community like that online. And that's been really helpful because I think, like I said, I feel oftentimes very weird about the things that I look into and research and, try to modify to fit my life. And it was confirming knowing that there are other people that are like that are interested in the same topics and the same ideas and the same books even. And I think, especially moving across the country to where I live now in Oklahoma from California, moving and being in a new place can be very isolating. And so I think it's important to find some sort of community. And I think sometimes that's digitally, although I'll touch on the physical nature of that in a minute. But I think that was one of the biggest things, was really just finding people that I can vibe with, and even just for once a week, sometimes listen to people or sometimes share what's going on in my life and feel valued or feel seen by other people that I vibe with. Another big win for me from a mental health standpoint is connecting with loved ones, more specifically my sister. For most of my life, childhood and my adult life, I had not had a great experience with my sister, my father as well, but my sister and that relationship really was difficult. There was a lot of wounds that were really, really deep that I had not moved past, that I had not healed. And while it didn't necessarily fix things per se, I think it was the start to really connecting was the initiator for healing those wounds that I've been experiencing for most of my life. And really being able to let down my guard in a way to where it exposed me in a very vulnerable way that I didn't like. It was very uncomfortable. It still is very uncomfortable, but being able to speak those things out loud and to talk about those with other people and to be able to cry even, but also more importantly, connecting with that family member and being able to talk about, hey, that hurt, but I want to move forward in a relationship and connect and be open, and I don't want to be closed off, and really softening my heart, I think was really helpful for me. Again, from a healing standpoint, being able to heal that wound, stitch that wound up, and be able to reciprocate more love towards other people and in other relationships, dealing with those wounds. Like I said, I don't think that, everything is, haha, fixed, but I think it feels like the door is open now to be able to explore that hurt, that pain, and resolve and work on those issues, those things, so that I can be the best version of myself that I can be, and share love to other people. Now, on the flip side, from a low light perspective, I think the in-person fostering of community wasn't as great as I would have liked it, and has been, a struggle for most of the time that I've lived here in Oklahoma. And I think it's just led to a lot of I guess you could say, frustration, for lack of a better term, and has caused conflict in other aspects of my life, whether that be relationships, with my girlfriend, my partner, um, as well as our boys, and as well as other people, even with my family or whoever. And I think there's a great importance of having a balance of in person and digital. And I think for my personality type and who it is that I am, I tend to be very solo in a lot of ways. A lot of the things that I do. And I think as I get older now, I realize that it's good to have a balance, and making sure that I prioritize time to have that balance of in person community with other people. And I think it's just really to just making sure that I have, those people that I can talk to, that I can go out with, that I can spend time with, in person, in ways that you don't necessarily get to experience online. And whether that be for myself, I have a lot of people at work that I really enjoy talking to and spending time with, and a lot of former colleagues that I really enjoy spending time with, that I don't get to see very often, but are some of my, if not the best friends that I've had. And even my old training partners in weightlifting, those people that I really uh, miss a lot. And there's just some things that don't translate in the same way. It sucks in a lot of ways. And so I think if there's anything that was really, really tough, that was really, really difficult, was really just fostering in-person connection with the people that I'm around on a day-to-day basis, but also to growing my friendships and relationships with people outside of my immediate family, in order to continue growing, continue learning, continue to explore the world around me through the lens of other people. And that's something I think that I really, really miss. Now, transitioning over into the physical health side of things, I was really stoked on this area of my life. I think this has been the area that I feel in some ways has backslidden, whatever the term is. But just kind of like, again, I bring up my move from California to Oklahoma. But when I was in Oklahoma or California, I was a lot more active. I was training regularly. I was competing in weightlifting. I was doing a lot of things that were active. Weekends, I was going hiking. I was just out and about. And when I transitioned and moved to Oklahoma and having, a family and all of these different things, life has changed over time to where different responsibilities, my time isn't as abundant as it used to be, or as it used to have been. But this past year, I really prioritized ensuring, my health was in order. Again, as I get older, I'm not getting any younger. And there's going to be a point that if I don't continue to prioritize my health, somebody else is going to do that for me as I get older. And so this year, I really started out from the basis of, you know, really just body weight workouts, body weight exercises, and using what I had with the time that I had, and then transition to, um, you know, thankfully being able to set up a home gym and being able to kind of get back into a more normal routine. And now again, going to a new CrossFit gym, not that far away from me, on the days when I have more ample time to be around people. Be around people. I always have time to be around people, but when I have more ample time to train and I'm not so crammed for time, I can go there. I can get a great work out with other people. But overall, I was really, really happy and satisfied with where I went from at the beginning of the year, only maybe being able to do 3 to 5 workouts a week. Now it's regularly 3 to 5 workouts a week. It's an hour. It's intensive. I'm back at the numbers that I had before I moved, and just really at a solid place foundationally. And it's really just kind of like looking forward towards, now, what do I want to do next? Another win this week was testing, or not this week, but this past year it was testing. So, thankfully, I'm really, really appreciative of my girlfriend, my partner, my everything, Kristen. She wanted to do some races this year as well, and we completed some 5Ks, and it was a great way to kind of just like usher in this new wave of, maintaining and improving my health. I did two 5Ks. Yeah, I did one in the summer, one in the fall, and then actually three 5Ks actually. So we did three 5Ks. The first one was really the one that I think was really more time based and really more performance based and really more of a test to see where it was that I was at. I got my second fastest 5K time at 7:48. My fastest 5K was at 7:33, so not very far off whatsoever. And I'm looking forward to next year and just kind of like continuing that test, finding new ways to test myself. But again, I'm super stoked that I was able to complete, their competitions technically at the end of the day. And I can't remember who it was, but there was somebody, one of the higher level CrossFit athletes and coaches were talking about how, you need to regularly test yourself and, test yourself across different, competitions, and whether that be a 5K, whether that be a CrossFit competition, maybe that might be a weightlifting competition, but just ensuring that I'm constantly in the arena, testing what it is that I'm doing and figuring out all the areas that I need to improve and work on. And this was just a great exhibit of that. If we're talking about lowlights, I would say the biggest lowlight I think for me was more on the nutrition side of things. I think I definitely ate like garbage to some degree, but also at the same time, I didn't want to go into this year like trying to shoot for, um, you know, trying to land on Saturn, and I can't even make it to, Mars. I don't know, wherever the planetary locations are. But I really wanted to do something that was sustainable. So my real focus was really just I want to train. I want to focus on training. I want to make sure that I'm doing consistently and regularly, but I also want to maintain, and kind of like recomp in a way. So like really just focusing on building, making sure that I'm eating enough. The source of those calories could probably have been a lot better. There's been a lot of times, again, like I said, where I ate like junk, and I should be eating a lot better. I'd like to ideally eat for more high quality sources of foods. But also on the flip side too, this was my first year not drinking anymore. So this past year, I have not had any alcohol. There's been, I will say, with a caveat, I haven't not been drunk this past year. There were moments where I did sip and I didn't know that there was alcohol in the beverage. And from that standpoint, I guess you could argue and say that I had alcohol, but I've been sober. My mind has not been altered, and it's been a great experience. I think mentally, the transition over the year, I feel a lot more alert. I feel a lot more on top of things. I don't feel groggy after the weekend because, I had a bunch to drink. And I just feel like I'm in a better place mentally. So I will say that even though nutrition was a low light, I think sobriety was also a positive with that. And I would encourage people to also think about that. For me, what really did it for me was listening to Huberman's podcast episode on alcohol, and the pros and cons of it. Spoiler alert, there aren't a whole lot, if any, positives with alcohol. It's mostly all negative. And so after listening to that, it was just kind of like, you know what? Let me take a break from this, and see where it goes. And so now it's just indefinite. I have no plans to go back to drinking alcohol. It's not in my future. I'm happier for it. My body's going to thank me for it. My liver's going to thank me for it. So even though it's a low light, it's still a highlight. Last but not least, we have the professional area of my life. I think there's a lot more that I probably could have documented with this area. I think that's one thing I'd also like to improve. A whole other video, but for the sake of my professional career, I'm really stoked that I feel like this year was a little bit of a transition for me in terms of accountability and responsibility, being more of the program leader, program manager for my team, working with my managers to develop goals, visions, roles and responsibilities for the team in ways that I've never done before. A lot of it was just here's the pan, cook something type of situations. And I'm really glad that I got put into that situation because it forced me to think through things from more of a managerial standpoint as opposed to a, individual contributor, which is a term in tech. but looking at it from the standpoint of, you know, not what does my manager want me to do, but how do I create and how do I manifest with my manager? And it was a really, really good experience. Another positive this year, I haven't even stated it yet on this channel as well, but becoming an HWPO ambassador, training ambassador, that's been really cool. Um, I mean, this past year, I think, I actually mentioned on this channel. This past year, I've been following HWPO. It's been awesome. I followed Sweat. I'm now following Flagship. I was on Flagship 1.0, now I'm on 2.0, and I had recently applied to become a training ambassador for HWPO, and I didn't think anything of it because I kind of like this year I made more content, but maybe not necessarily my best when looking at my old stuff. But the passion is still there for training and the love of training and the improvement of health and product, all that stuff. I say all that to say, this December I was accepted as a training ambassador to be able to help promote the message of hard work paying off, showing up, doing the work. A lot of what I've been posting on my YouTube shorts. And so that has been a really, really just reaffirming experience for me to know that, like, even though I kind of took my foot off of the gas pedal a little bit over the last few years, like I still got it in a way. And the message that I want to share with people and, the messages that I share with people online through YouTube, through my IG, whatever, that it's resonating with people and it resonates with a brand like HWPO. And so I'm really stoked about that. I'm looking forward to continuing to be a part of that program and just continue to push and help others join a no nonsense, straightforward, simple way to transform your life, whether it's any of the programs that you're looking for. I think HWPO is probably the best online training program that I've experienced myself, and I really, really enjoy it. So if you're looking for a program to follow, 14 days for free. This is not an ad. I don't get paid for it, even though I am a training ambassador. I would definitely recommend checking it out because I think it's definitely worth looking into just from improving your life. It could be 45 minutes. If you got 45 minutes, you got your body. There's a lot that you can accomplish. Last but not least, from a low light standpoint, I think there were a lot of business opportunities that didn't take off in the way that I had hoped. From a side business standpoint, there were things that I wanted to do. There's one of my business, which is an app I've been working on for the last year or so. I had hoped would have more users on the platform. I would hope that I'd have more traffic. And it didn't take off the way that I wanted, but there are some elements within that I am kind of stoked on because I built the entire app myself. I did all the work myself. And prior to that, I had never worked or built anything on as like from an engineering standpoint. And so even though again it's a low light, it also opened my eyes to what it is that I'm capable of from the standpoint of potentially becoming an engineer and being able to do that for work. Maybe there are some things that I need to work on and improve from an build standpoint, but I can learn and I can grow and I can foster those skills to become something better and to use it for financing my life at the end of the day. So that's really it for this like reflection piece. I think more than anything, I have to thank everybody in my life, even though there's a lot of times where I don't feel like there are a lot of people in my life because I'm in the middle of nowhere. But, again, people like my partner, my girlfriend, my lover, everything, Kristen, and all that she puts up with me and all my endeavors for, everything that I pursue and everything that I do, and being there. I think as well my family putting up with me not being there physically, and being in the middle of the country, because it fits better for my life, but there's sacrifices that it entails. But I'm appreciative of them being willing, to allow me to take that risk without any shame or without any guilt. My friends, work giving me the opportunity to move out here, everything, I think there's a lot to be thankful for. And it's very easy to um, forget those things. And I think that that's something that I've been doing a lot because I haven't been doing the introspective work, I have to admit, lately. Um, but I will always be grateful at the end of the day. And I think as I look forward, I'm going to do another video. I know also too, this is very off brand for the channel, but I hope that, as I move forward into next year, going to be creating more content, or I have been creating more content. So we're going to keep making more content, and really just continuing to push the message, push the needle on what it is that it means to live this life, making a lot of big changes, making a lot of big risks, making a lot of life changes for the positive, for the sake of, myself, my family, and just everything. So I say that, all that to say, I thank everybody that's in my life. I'm appreciative of everybody that's in my life. And I thank you guys for taking the time to listen to this video, listen to some random guy ramble. Also shout out to everybody that's been enjoying the reels, everything, at the end of the day. So I say all that to say, thanks for rocking with me. I hope you guys continue to rock with me. 2025, let's get it. More coffee, more barbells. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.